What is going on, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to the channel, and today is a very exciting video. I'm going to see Gone with the Wind for the very first time. It is a long movie. It's like, what, 3 hours and 45 minutes? Easily the longest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. So this is going to be interesting. I hope it's an intermission. I definitely can't make 3 hours and 46 minutes. I couldn't even make Avatar's 3 hours. All right, by far, the thing that I'm most excited about is to show you guys what this theater looks like, because this theater used to be a big piece of shit, big pile of ass, and now they completely changed it around. They switched it. It is so beautiful. It's my favorite theater to go to now. I do have AMC Stubs A-List, so that is my main theater, but if I could choose between like having an AMC A-List at Imagine versus just having the AMC A-List at AMC, I would take Imagine, just because the people there are so nice. They actually care about your experience. At AMC nowadays, it feels like nobody fucking cares. We gotta go, or we're gonna be late to this movie. It's a pretty tiny auditorium, and I do think people did buy tickets for this, so I'm not by myself anymore. But here we are.
That kind of talk could sweep a girl off her feet.
The front red button turns heat on and off. Push.
People call that one of the greatest movies ever made. Oh my god, that was probably the most insufferable 3 hours and 40 minutes I've ever spent in a fucking movie theater. Talk about the most unrelatable, uninteresting, asshole characters that we're following. Oh my god, Scarlett is such a bitch. She's not a good protagonist, and by the end of the movie, she... Like, what the fuck was that? Why does everybody think that's so good? That was not good, okay? There are really good moments of really well, like, shot sequences, right? And there are pages in the script that are writ well. There are sequences that are done really well. But these characters are so fucking ass. I don't know why anybody likes this. To put the cherry on top of this whole situation, the people that were in the theater with me had a fucking child, had a fucking baby with them the entire time that was crying throughout the entire movie, the entire time. Now, maybe I'm an asshole, and call me that in the comments if you want, but when I have kids one day, and if I want to bring them with me to my movie because maybe I don't have a babysitter and this is the only opportunity for me to do it, is 11 a.m. On an early morning, maybe I'm not going to go to the fucking 3 hour and 48 minute Gone with the Wind film, and maybe I'll choose something like The Bad Guys, or I don't know, fucking Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, something that isn't 3 hours and 40 minutes long. Of course that kid is gonna be irritated by the 1 hour mark. He's sitting in a dark room that's really loud. Like, what are we doing? And then on top of that, the mother, instead of going to the bathroom to change the kid, threw him right in the middle of the aisle, on the floor, the theater floor, and started changing him. Like, what? That probably had to have been one of my worst theater experiences. But honestly, by the end of the movie, I didn't even mind that the baby was crying. In fact, it was more interesting to hear that baby cry than to watch Scarlett on screen whine about fucking, everything that she wants is so selfish. The way that she goes about getting it, she literally fucks over the people that she claims to love and care about. It is so dumb. And I get that's kind of like the whole point. That's the whole point of the line, "Break me, my dear, I don't give a damn." But that doesn't make it good. Just because this lady's an asshole and Rhett by the end of the movie is finally coming to his senses after watching their daughter get fucking killed, and she doesn't seem to give a shit about it. And then her best friend dies, and she doesn't seem to care about it either. I'm just like, what? could you fall in love with somebody like that? I totally understand falling in love with Rhett because he's witty. He's got some charisma. He's an interesting guy. He's got some heart too. But Scarlett, dude, she is such an asshole the entire time. I don't think there was a solid sequence in this movie where she was on screen that I had a smile on my face. It was so frustrating to watch this character, and I was doing some research online. I was on Reddit, and people were discussing Scarlett's character, and a lot of people were saying, well, you just have to watch it a bunch of times, because the more you watch it, the more your thoughts or perspective on her character starts to change. And I'm like, so you're telling me I gotta watch this 3 hour and 45-minute movie about a bitch that that is in love with somebody that makes it clear multiple times that he does not want to do this. Yes, maybe he does have some sort of feelings towards her, but he's married with a child. So you'd think you take the fucking hint. Plus, Rhett is like the nicest guy, and he's rich. Like, what? I'm so at a loss of words as to how stupid this Scarlett person is. She's so fucking dumb. What was that? You know, when I went and saw The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, and going into those movies, I hadn't seen them before. I saved them for a theater experience. And going into them, everybody calls those movies the greatest of all time. They're the best. And walking out of that theater, I totally understood why. Those movies are phenomenal. But Gone with the Wind? What was that? Like, I'm not gonna remember this movie. I mean, you know what? I am gonna remember this movie because of the social status that we all hold it to. Wow. The most likable characters or people in this movie were the people that Scarlett was fucking over the entire time. The people she was being an asshole to the entire time. And you know what? It would be different if by the end of the movie, she had the character arc, the growth of becoming a better person, but she didn't. She started the film and ended it the same exact way. Now, yes, in the beginning of the film, she's a little bit more of a helpless, whiny little brat, and then in the second half, she owns her own business, and she's kind of a woman in her own right, but she's still very selfish and very arrogant, and treats everyone around her, including her husband and her children and her daughter, like ass. I really did not think I was going to have that experience with this movie. I thought I would at least come out liking it. If I never see this movie again, I genuinely would not be fazed by it. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. And if you guys love Gone with the Wind, that is amazing. That is amazing. I don't know how you do it. Just wow. 3 hours and 48 minutes, and our main character doesn't change at all. Good stuff, good stuff.
Hopefully that's the most riled up you guys will ever see me get on this channel, because that, not only was it embarrassing, but it's not how I want to carry myself on this channel, but I feel like I need to leave that part in, because it was very therapeutic for me to let that all out, leaving the theater. Now, I hope that the reason I didn't like it is as simple as the reason that my dad gave me when I got off the phone with him after seeing it, that it's just a product of its time. That because of after all this time from when it came out to where we are now, our perspectives have changed so much that we just don't really see this movie as they would have back then. I don't know how I feel about that. Just that being the simple answer as to why I didn't like it. Because I don't know. I mean, did people really back then find something to relate to in these characters? I mean, really? Especially in Scarlett? Like genuinely? I mean, maybe, I guess, but they're just such shit people, and I guess that does kind of reflect how we've changed as a society. Yes, a lot of us are still a bunch of shitheads, as Janelle Monáe would say on Glass Onion, but not nearly on the level as the people in this movie. And as for, like, the racial aspect to it, I think what the film opened with is, like, a little message, and you can see it on screen now. I think it says it perfectly. Yes, what went on in that time period was most definitely wrong, horrible, disgusting, but in order to understand why it was wrong and why it was so horrible and grotesque, we need to be able to see it. Films like Till from last year need to still be made, not shunned away from like it never happened, because it did. It most certainly did. But what I can pretend didn't happen was seeing Gone with the Wind, because that, like a turd in the wind, as Venom would say, that shit was so forgettable. And you can see it on my face. I wanted more than nothing but to love this movie going in to see it. You guys can tell how over it I am. I am literally feet up, kicked back, chilling right now recording this video. It is just, it was so depressing that I didn't like this movie at all. Like, at all. I guess on the bright side, if I was born when the film came out originally and I saw it back then, I guess I would have loved it, because I would have related to a bunch of fucking assholes the entire time on the bright side, right? But that's gonna be all for me today, you guys. That was